Ladies and gentlemen, the show will commence in 5 minutes. While you are waiting, please hit the like button and share the video link.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to begin. Grab a drink and a snack, sit down and enjoy watching the show. Don't forget to comment, like the video, and share it to others.
Hello, welcome to live show 114, Global Power Shift, Ukraine War Endgame. And tonight's show, what's on the table? We're diving headfirst into the Russia-USA negotiations that unfolded in Saudi Arabia. Is this Ukraine's war's endgame or just a new chapter? And of course, can you please like this video and show your support? Share the link to spread the word. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. And as always, we have Michael, our regular co-host of this show. Whoops. Oh, here you go. Here he is. How are you?
Oh, just hanging out.
Turn you on. That would be good.
I just realized last time I said it was a beautiful Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. Yes. So I guess I've had an extra Wednesday compared to the rest of you.
Yeah. What have you been doing since Sunday's show?
Nothing.
Okay. and okay. And there it goes. There he is. And in the studio this time we have a Canadian who calls Minsk his home right now. Warm welcome to Mitchell. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. Can I ask you why you decided to come here?
Yeah. So actually, it started just as a kid. I would watch travel videos, YouTube videos, and I really thought Belarus is a very comfortable, nice place. I thought it was interesting, kind of mysterious, because there's not a lot to find about it on the internet. And then, I don't know, I didn't think about it for a while, but during COVID, some of the videos got sent back in my feed, and I decided, you know what, when it's done, I'm going to try and travel there. During the war, or like when it started, I wasn't too sure, is it safe to go, is it not? Over time, I started realizing there's a lot of propaganda. And then I decided, you know what, let's just go. Let's go see. I've really enjoyed the culture, the people, really great people.
What do you, can you briefly tell our viewers what's it like compared to the West?
Yeah, so...
which is better?
So I'll say I'm from rural Ontario. My town only has 6,000 people. I've never lived in a big city, but I've gone to big cities many times. Niagara, Toronto, Vancouver. I've been to the States. And I would say that one thing that really shocked me when I first came here was it's very, very orderly, very clean. People take more pride in this kind of thing. It's a very homogenous community. I've never felt unsafe or felt even out of place. Whereas when I go to Toronto, I don't feel like I'm in Canada. I don't feel like I'm in my home. Yep. But yeah, people are really great. Overall, I've really enjoyed my time here. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right now, I'm learning Russian at the Linguistic University, MSLU.
Cool. Excuse me. Okay, where are we? There. Oh, there's three of us and his bald head pointing at us. Can you move over a bit? That's it. Thank you.
We have to turn that camera. It's just,
yeah, we can do that too.
It's just slightly this way.
Yeah.
Don't do it right now.
It'll go out of focus. It'll go out of focus.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
there you go.
I should say something about this.
Yes.
This is probably the only Hooters shirt in existence in Belarus. So, this is basically a collector's item here.
Is it for sale here?
No. I will wear it until I wash it too many times and the like when it starts to do that spider web pattern.
Yeah, it starts to kind of break out.
I still have like an old Misfits shirt.
Is Hooters still going in America?
Huh?
Is it still going?
Yeah.
Well, not
I
very
think so.
well.
Yeah. Not the way she was.
Yeah, I like you go there and like the girls usually do not have Hooters. That is the big joke.
Yes.
And if they do have Hooters, it is because the rest of them is very large.
It's not the ones that you want to see.
Yeah. There's no hot chicks at Hooters. You heard it here first. Don't go there.
Yeah, I went in when we went in 1998, and they were looked all right then.
Well, that was because you were allowed to discriminate against fat people. There we go. I had to make sure I did that correctly.
It's oversized.
Yeah, it's high-calorie humans.
High-calorie humans, yeah.
High-calorie humans, that's a good one.
Well, they wrote that in a news article to be less offensive. And
Like little hat people.
I don't know, being called a high-calorie human, that sounds a lot worse to me. Maybe I think I would prefer fat bitch if somebody, but I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, now they want to have 2 seats on the plane because it's discriminatory, right?
Yeah, and it should be for half the price of a normal ticket.
What?
Yeah. For the fat travel blog bitches.
Yeah, I saw the other day someone was complaining about their Uber turned up and it was too small for them to get into.
No. That was a Lyft.
Yeah.
And that was that fat, obese black rapper chick.
Oh, there you go.
And she's she went onto a podcast, and she sat down in a chair like this. And for reference, I'm 6'1". I'm 220 pounds ish. I'm a big guy. She sits down in a chair just like this, and she goes, "Ain't y'all got a bigger chair?" You know.
Yeah.
So then they have her stand up, which takes a lot of effort for her, by the way. And they take her chair away, and then they pull a whole fucking sofa off the wall and bring it up to her, and she sits down on that fucker. You could probably have like 6 people sit on that thing, you know? And she takes up like half of it. I don't even know how this is possible. Like, how does she move around? And then she wants to try and sue Lyft. That guy had a tiny little car. I'm glad he didn't take her. He'd have to sue her.
You can sue for just about anything.
Well, he'd have to sue her for the fucking shocks. You know, like what the fuck? I need new springs. That's fat ass bitch.
Yeah, break the seats as well. You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger in that movie Commando, where he rips a seat out so he could get in.
Well, he could probably complain to Lyft for a cleaning fee because he can't get the smell out of the car.
Okay, let's go. Let's start. So here we are, February 19th, 2025, just a day after the historic meeting in Saudi Arabia. And I'm still picturing that grand room, polished marble floors gleaming under the chandeliers with the air thick of anticipation, and 2 delegations facing each other with a mix of caution and newfound respect. Russia on one side, the US on the other, with the Saudis in the middle, not just refereeing but quietly asserting their role as the global power broker. It's not just a meeting, it's a seismic shift, a chessboard where Russia's moves are proving decisive, and the world is holding its breath, watching every outcome. But from where I stand, there's something deeply satisfying about this moment, a chance for Russia to reclaim its rightful place on the global stage, stronger and more respected than ever. They're calling it a negotiation, but it feels more like a triumph, a strategic masterpiece of showcases Moscow's resilience, patience and foresight. On the table, everything. Ukraine's conflict, yes, but also the broader undoing of decades of Western hostility towards Russia. Russia's got its line in the sand, clear and unyielding. No NATO expansion into Ukraine, no tolerance for Western boots on their soil, and a recognition of realities they've secured in the Donbass, Crimea and beyond. The US under Trump seems to finally be waking up, or at least they're willing to talk about sanctimonious preconditions that choked diplomacy for years. And here's the real beauty of it. Kyiv's not even invited. Sure, some might call it exclusion, but from where I'm sitting, it's a breath of fresh air, a necessary correction. Why should Ukraine, a pawn in this larger game, dictate terms when they've been pushed by Western handlers, Obama, Biden, and their cronies into war that they can't win? As Trump himself said just yesterday, we weren't invited? You had 3 years to talk. You should have finished this 3 years ago. You didn't even start. And he's right. And it stings to hear, but it's the truth. Trump recalled that 3 years ago a good deal could have been concluded in Istanbul and Kyiv would have retained its territories. Now, the country's in ruins. Zelensky's ratings are hitting rock bottom at 4%, and the elections loom as a desperate scramble. Trump's not mincing words, he's vilifying Zelensky, disappointed with the Ukraine's refusal to seek the peaceful settlement, and openly questioning where half the US money allocated to Ukraine has vanished. It's a reckoning, and Russia's position looks vindicated. And are they really what are they really after, though? Peace? Absolutely, but on Russia's terms. A sustainable resolution that respects theirs, security interests, stops the endless NATO provocations, and dismantles the anti-Russian terrorist state Ukraine that became in 2014. Or maybe it's more than that, a chance to thaw the ice-cold bilateral ties that's been rotting since the West turned its back on Moscow after Crimea. Trump's name keeps floating around like a beacon of possibility even before he's fully settled back into the White House. They say he's driving this, wants to etch his name in history with Putin's handshake, maybe even a summit to follow. A prep for that, some whisper. But can Putin trust Trump? That's the question lingering in Moscow's corridors, and it's not hard to see why. Over the past 30 years, the globalist American empire, Obama, Biden, and the deep state has violated practically every agreement it has ever made with Russia or the Soviet Union. That pattern of consistent lying and backstabbing is what ultimately led to the Russia-Ukraine war. But with Trump, there's a glimmer of hope. We're united not by common values or aspirations, but common enemies, those same Obama, Biden, and the deep state figures who orchestrated a hostile takeover of Ukraine in 2014, turning a once friendly nation into a dagger aimed at Russia's heart. These are the same people who spent a decade trying to destroy, bankrupt, and even assassinate Trump. Now that he's back, he's hell-bent on vengeance, appointing loyalists and outsiders like Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, and John Ratcliffe to key positions in the US security apparatus. I've heard from informed sources close to the White House that Trump's even considering a state security council to purge the deep state. Ukraine's central to this domestic power struggle. Trump knows Biden and the company were neck-deep in dirty business deals there, and his 2019 impeachment over investigations of those crimes only fueled his resolve. He hasn't forgotten or forgiven Ukraine's role in the conspiracy against him. For Russia, this means Trump, while not the most trustworthy individual, shares our interest and Russia's interest in slashing the financial and political arteries sustaining Zelensky's regime. By doing so, Trump weakens and discredits his enemies at home and Russia's enemies too. The Saudis, though, they're the real wild card, and I can't help but admire their cunning, hosting this, mediating it, flexing their influence in a way that screams, we're not just oil and sand anymore. That's brilliant strategy. Right as the neutral ground, the one place where Moscow and Washington can show up without losing face and position themselves as a linchpin in this new era of diplomacy. And what's the outcome? The news from February 18th and now February 19th is nothing short of a victory for Russia. After more than 4 hours of talks in Saudi, both sides agreed to start working towards ending the war in Ukraine on terms that don't bow to Western ultimatums. They're committed to normalizing diplomatic missions, restaffing embassies, and even lifting sanctions that strangled the economy. Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov outlined it clearly, an agreement to swiftly appoint ambassadors, remove obstacles for the Biden administration created over the past 4 years, form a process of Ukraine conflict resolution with negotiators soon to be appointed soon, and create conditions for resuming bilateral cooperation alongside resolving the crisis. Russian bank cards will start working worldwide again, and hopefully so will Belarusian ones. Marco Rubio, the US representative, confirmed that sanctions against Russia will be lifted and embassies in Moscow and Washington will reopen. Hopefully the one in Minsk will reopen here as well. That's a seismic shift. Dismantling of isolation the West tried to impose on us here in Belarus and in Russia. Even the American delegation was shocked to discover $300 billion in losses for US companies caused by leaving Russia. Another sign they're realizing the cost of their hostility. But it's not just about Ukraine, it's about power, about Russia reasserting its voice after years of isolation. Trump's statements yesterday amplify this. He said Russia is capable of destroying 100% of Ukraine's cities very quickly, including Kyiv, but doesn't want to. Prove that Russian restraint and desire for peace, not destruction. He's not against sending European troops to Ukraine, but there'll be no American boots on the ground, and he's adamant the conflict could have been resolved without war years ago. Meanwhile, Macron's scrambling, calling a second urgent EU leaders meeting in 3 days to discuss Ukraine and European security. Reuters says Norway, Canada and the Baltic states, the Czech Republic, Greece, Finland, Romania, Sweden and Belgium are invited this time after some felt snubbed by the first meeting. They're offended, nervous, but let's be honest, Europe's relevance is waning here. Rubio's statements post-talks echo this. Ending the conflict will require difficult and intense diplomacy over a long period, with concessions from all sides. But Trump wants a fair end that doesn't let the war restart in 2 to 3 years. He insists the EU must join the table eventually, given their sanctions, but for now, Russia and the US are setting the pace. And I keep thinking about that room, though the silence between the words, the weight of every sentence like carefully aimed arrow, Lavrov's claim, measured responses, Ukrainov's strategy insights, Rubio's cautious nods, is a dance of diplomacy where Russia led and the US followed, guided by Trump's newfound alignment with Russia's interests. Every gesture, every agreement is a signal. Russia's back, not as a pariah, but as a partner, ready to cooperate in economics and geopolitics once the Ukraine crisis is resolved. The question of trust lingers. Can Putin trust Trump? But the shared enemy of the US deep state, the common goal of dismantling Ukraine's regime's lifeline, gives Russia a rare chance, and out of here, the rest of us. We're not just watching, we're cheering. Hopefully they don't let this momentum slip, because if they do, it's not just their mess to clean up, it's a missed opportunity for a new world order, one where Russia's voice isn't silenced but celebrated as a cornerstone of global stability. This isn't a conflict resolution, it's a revival, a redirection of global stage, and Russia's playing to win decisively. So guys, after all that huge monologue, what do you make of Donald Trump's statement that Ukraine has 3 years to negotiate peace and could avoid starting the war, and how does that align with Russia's narrative of the Ukraine conflict? Who wants to go first?
Well, I can go. Personally, I think they've had a lot more than just 3 years. We had Minsk 1, Minsk 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's been ever since 2014. But yeah, the last 3 years for sure. There's been many opportunities to try and put their hand out. As Putin and Russia said from the beginning, they're ready to negotiate. But there's some things that are non-negotiable, and one of those things is NATO. And Ukraine, they maybe at one point they were willing to concede this, but Boris Johnson showing up and saying, no, we're with you all the way.
Well, even yesterday, Prime Minister Starmer said they're still going to be in NATO.
Yeah.
And the UK said they'll send troops. What troops? I don't know what troops, but they'll send troops.
See, well, this is what doesn't make sense to me. The whole, and we talked about this on the last show. Why does the EU exist? Why does NATO exist? It's completely outgrown and become over-bloated, and essentially, what is the reason behind it other than just to bully everybody else and you're trying to take all of these countries that have completely different cultures, different values, and you're gonna force them to fight as one force, stealing money from all of their citizens, and that's exactly what the fight in Ukraine is over in the first place. You have Russians that voted that they don't want to be a part of Ukraine anymore. They wanted to return to Russia, and they had more than enough time to figure something out. And then you have Zelensky stealing all this fucking money once he realized that it could be big, but obviously the problems are older than Zelensky is. So he's just he was there at the right time, the right opportunity to steal as much as possible, and obviously he pushed a lot of it, and well, I'm just excited for it to end, and maybe I can go buy myself a cheap house in Crimea now that we get that. So fuck you, basically.
Well, and NATO's like a defensive alliance, but I don't know. Ask the people of Belgrade what they think about that, right?
Or Libya.
Or Libya, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and why is NATO? I thought if you're gonna have a huge force like that, why are they everywhere else? Like, how is that defensive if they're everywhere else?
And like I said, they want to have an Asian NATO.
That doesn't even make sense. they don't touch the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, I know.
How does what they
Yeah.
need a different fucking abbreviation.
Yeah, no.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, but they said they want an Asian NATO. So given Trump's vilification of Zelensky and his claim that Ukraine's leadership failed to secure a deal in Istanbul 3 years ago, how might this shift US policy to better serve Russia's interest in Ukraine? Start with you, Michael.
Well, I don't think that Trump is the one that's vilifying Zelensky. First of all, I think he does a good enough job on that by himself. And also, claiming that Ukraine's leadership failed to secure a deal. Obviously, you've let it go for how long? And every day that they let it go, they're losing more and more territory. They're losing more and more men. Their country has completely gone to shit. Their coffers are dry. They have no ammunition. The whole of Europe and America.
The electricity system's getting slowly destroyed.
Yeah, they have nothing. Their whole entire country is just fucking. It's just in shambles, and all of it for what? So that way, Zelensky can pocket half the money and buy all these mansions, and they found other people that were pocketing money, and
Well, as we said last show, 40 billion's been found in the Caribbean from different accounts.
yeah, it's just.
I didn't hear that one. Yeah.
But more than that is missing.
Oh yeah. But at least 40 billion they've looked and found in the Caribbean in the places for hiding money there.
Well, it's if you guys want to give away money so bad, I mean, I'll take one of those billions would be nice.
I'd be happy with one of those millions. That'll be
Yeah, even just $100, please. I'll take a half pack of cigarettes.
Any Ukrainians out there, hit the dollar sign there and send us $100.
But I don't know. The big thing in U.S. policy with Ukraine and Russia, I don't know. It's not our business. We shouldn't have been in it. It's just as old as the sand wars that we were having with Afghanistan, Iraq, and now they're trying to trick Trump into thinking that Iran had something to do with
his assassination.
Yeah, which was very obviously an inside deal. And
well, that guy that said it was the governor, remember?
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing, is that the governor is Shapiro, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
which is the Jewish name, yeah. and then even the police officer that tried to report it to the FBI had a Jewish name, and so that whole thing is just one big fucking mess, and that was ignored by all the newspapers and the whole entire Biden administration.
Yeah, on the slope the roofs, right?
I don't understand the whole thing. It's like everything just goes in fucking circles. Like, nobody actually gets anything done, and I think I've said it on the show a bunch of times. If you paid attention to what was going on in your own borders, your own region, and I would consider your own region, like when we were talking about the spheres of influence before, America touches Canada and Mexico. That's it. That's all you should give a fuck about.
Should they worry about Cuba?
Well, in the sense that they should stop them from coming to fucking Florida. Everybody speaks fucking Spanish in Florida, and then
well, if there wasn't sanctions on Cuba all the time, maybe the people wouldn't want to leave there.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, why are there sanctions on there? It's not anything more than a punishment.
50 years or something now.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. You ever been to like Miami or Tampa or yeah? You eat a Cuban sandwich before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're fucking awful. That's how those people fucking eat. I feel really bad for them.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, sorry, 1 second here. Yeah, I don't think it serves the United States' interest to have Russia as an enemy at all. I think actually it serves their interest completely to have them as an ally, because why would you go and push them further and further towards China, who's and I mean, I'm not a major China hawk, but
I've met some people, and a Canadian as well, who's been on the show, who lives there, and guess what? Everything we've heard about there is bullshit as well.
What, in China?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's got videos where he goes around and asks about the social credit system, and they keep saying, "Do you want a credit card?"
Yeah.
Do you want a credit card? No.
No, that's what I mean. I
mean, they've got ID in that everywhere, just like most places. I mean, you know, to get in there, and they've got what, 1 billion people to control. So.
No, I'm not a China hawk, but I think why would you go and push Russia out of your I don't know, trading yeah, all of this. Why would you go and push them farther and farther from you when you could be friendly with them as well?
Because they make so much money off of hawking their fucking bullshit on like Wish.com and
yeah.
They you know, you can order something that costs like $1 as opposed to like $12 in America, and it's the same fucking item because it's made at the same fucking factory, but you know, it takes like 8 weeks to get to you.
Yeah,
because it comes on a fucking boat.
How valid are Russian concerns about trusting Donald Trump, considering the U.S. history of violating agreements with Russia over the past 30 years? And what evidence from Saudi Arabia talks suggests potential trust?
Absolutely valid. I think Putin touched on this before, that you can have a new president, you can have how many new presidents, you know, just in his time in office, and the policy typically hasn't changed. Donald Trump has been the only president that's really differed from this path.
I think Putin said that the president gets in with good ideas, and then men with dark suits and sunglasses come and talk to him, and then that changes.
Yeah, I think he was hopeful at one point with Obama. Not that I like Obama, but I think he was hopeful with him, and it ended up being the same thing.
Well, Putin suggested that they join NATO when Clinton was in, and Clinton said, that's a good idea, and then the next day came back and going, well, no.
Yeah, not a chance.
And then with Bush in, he said the same thing, and Bush went, oh, that's a good idea, and then came back the next day, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
So there you go. Wonder who they talked to. What about you? What do you think about the trust thing?
Well, that's exactly the issue. You see, Belarus and Russia, they've stayed exactly the same for, 30 years. And it's because they have two good leaders. You've got Lukashenko, you've got Putin. And they actually stick up for the values of what their country is supposed to represent. They take care of their people. This is the problem with Belarus is a republic. And Russia is a federation. But a federation is just a large republic. It's what it really is.
Australia's a federation.
Is it? I did not know that.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But that means it's a republic. But you have some really bad fucking leaders in Australia.
Yes, we have had. Yes.
And you can see how the damage that a bad leader can have, even in a good country. Because Australia used to be really cool.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to go there. Now after everything that's happened recently, it's fucking awful.
We were going to move there just before the COVID thing, and then that happened. It's like, oh, glad we didn't go.
I saw something where some lady got charged it was like 2,000 Australian dollars or something for bringing a fucking sandwich on an airplane on accident. Didn't throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Yeah, but you know why? Because Australia's got no diseases there. Foot and mouth, all that sort of thing.
Okay.
And if it goes in there, it will devastate everything. So that's why they're really
Sure, but why are you charging some lady that left a sandwich in her bag?
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying that's why they're a bit anal about it. That's why they check everybody for food. You know, they check every piece of post that comes in. Every piece.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's where you see the huge difference between when you have a strong leader that's good and you have strong leaders that are, well, they're just fucking assholes. To put it bluntly. And in America, you have the problem of every 4 years you have a potential change, but usually it's 8 years of Republicans, then it's 8 years of Democrats, and some stuff can kind of change and it can balance out with all the midterms and blah blah blah, depending on all of the performances and whatever propaganda they want to throw out at the time. But you see nothing in America is consistent. Everything flip-flops from every minute, every day, weeks. It's crazy. It's America is a very volatile social structure. Just the way that even in daily life, it's not at all what people think it is. If you've ever tried to live there, it's every day makes you want to tear your fucking hair out. I mean, there's a reason why I shave my head. I'm not even 30 yet. I have really bad hair.
Well, and also, as far as presidents go, the first 4 years is just trying to get reelected. It's not necessarily what you want to do. It's what's going to be popular so you can get back in and have your last 4.
Well, and there was one guy where, let's see, 80 years ago, I guess 90 years ago, tried to do democracy a different way, where people were voting on each issue, and then you were going by the issue, because you honestly you can't expect representatives to represent their constituents.
So you think it should be like Switzerland, where they have referendums on every big thing?
Well, Switzerland did that. Austria did that. Germany did that. But when they, got a little too far into that, and then people didn't like what was going on, then the whole entire world stepped in to stop true democracy from happening. So Switzerland still has it, but that's because Switzerland is basically impenetrable. Yeah. You can't get into there. Yeah. I mean, now you can, like with modern stuff, but I mean, they keep all the money, like all the world's money is there. So
they say. In light of Trump's shared enemies with Russia, Obama, Biden, and the U.S. deep state, how might this domestic purge of the deep state, including appointments by Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, impact U.S.-Russian relations?
What the fuck kind of question is that? That is, in light of Trump's shared enemies with Russia, Obama, Biden, and the U.S. deep state.
Yeah, they're the enemies.
How might his domestic purge of the deep state, including appointments like Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel, impact U.S.-Russia relations? What? That is a fucking question right there.
Yeah.
Well,
we have questions.
The problem is, I don't know. If you look at because I was just having this conversation with somebody earlier today. I talked to a Chinese guy that lives here now. He used to live in America. He lived in Indiana for like 10 years, and he was saying, "I don't understand the people here, and I don't understand how you understand them." And I told him, like, I grew up in rural Iowa. I lived outside of a town of 350 people. Like, I grew up in the forest, and cornfields around my house, and the next closest town had 1,000 people. And then once I got a little bit older, I switched to the high school, like in the big town. It's like 20,000 people. That's it. And I understand them because I got raised in rural American Catholicism. And American Catholicism is separated from the rest of Europe. And so we have like this big, beautiful ocean, as Trump says, separating us. And our American Catholic priests don't buy into that whole like when the Pope said that you could bless gay people and blah blah blah. So it's hard to change the American Catholic parishioners and the priests. And I think the big issue that you run into, everybody that you name, Obama, Biden, deep state, all that bullshit. It's have you ever once heard those people mention anything about religion? Or no, it's because they're all atheist. Or
Well, they pretend to be.
well, yeah.
Sometimes. Biden for sure. Biden pretend.
Yeah,
pretended.
well, he's what form of Protestant is he? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So once you run into all that, America has
Wasn't
these.
Kennedy the only Catholic that's been president?
Well, why do you think they fucking murdered him? That's the big thing. Is American Protestantism and Protestantism in general. It takes true Catholic and Orthodox values, and it completely changes them. And so you have the people here. What is it? 80-something% of people are Orthodox religion, and even the people that say that they're atheist, their whole entire society is built around Orthodox values and cultural norms, and when you grow up like I did, like in rural America, the only people that I would have a big association with were when I went to Catholic school or to go hang out with even on my soccer team and stuff. Like a lot of the kids were Catholic and they went to my church and blah blah blah. So I know everything that's happening here. I know the way that everybody thinks. It's all the same. But current Protestantism, current Catholicism in Europe, and even like the Greek Orthodox Church and the Ukraine Orthodox Church, like they bought into a bunch of bullshit. Like it's okay for you to be a fag. You can cut your dick off. You can do whatever you want. Like,
Ukrainian Orthodox Church or Ukrainian Catholic? Because the way I understood it was the Ukrainian Catholic was a Western kind of creation to take them, the Ukrainians, from the Orthodox Church, which was much more similar and, I don't know, had a lot of ties with the Russian Orthodox Church as well.
Well, there is no such thing as the Ukrainian
Orthodox Church.
Orthodox
It's
Church.
the same thing.
It's the Russian
Yeah.
Orthodox Church. All they did was they just hate Russia so much suddenly that now they had to make their own patriarch. So now it's the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. it's just a bunch of petty bullshit, and it's giving in to the highest bidder. How much money does it take for you to go against your countrymen, to betray your own values?
But as far as purging the deep state and some of these appointments, I think, it's definitely going to help. Putin needs to see that something's being done. It's not going to be the same as every other president, like he said in that interview. I think was that with Tucker that he said that. He's got to know that things are changing, and it's not going to be like with Minsk agreements when. After the war had started, was it Merkel had said that it was all just about buying time?
Yeah, and Hollande as well from France. Yeah, they were just saying.
Yeah, they were just buying time. So I think he needs to see that something's being done on our end as well.
Yeah. Well, the problem is they did sign an agreement and they still didn't do anything. So even if they sign stuff, you still can't trust them.
Well, and that's the big thing with the deep state is those are the people that are getting paid a lot of money to make sure that communities become separated. They change their ideas. They want to change your values. They want you to betray your own people. And I think the big thing with them is that they have to go out of their way to try and get the people that it's not as easy as just give you $100. They have to find some other way to do it. So they give you all of this bullshit. Like, how often do you see, real Christians love everybody. Jesus loves everybody. Yeah, that's not true. That's not how that works at all. If you're bad for my community, do you know how many times that it's talked about, like, this person was ostracized, they were kicked out of the community because they were a bad person? Like, why doesn't anybody do that anymore? Because now suddenly Christians love everybody.
Well, turn the other cheek is completely taken out of context. It's you slap me once, I turn my cheek, but you slap me twice, and I have no more cheeks for you to slap, type of thing.
Well, I mean, even that, it's a little the turn the other cheek. I think it's more of just that's the ostracizing.
It's weaponized against us because it's you should just take shit every single time it comes at you.
Well, no, I think turn the other cheek is not to allow the other cheek to be hit. Instead, it's if somebody hits you in the cheek, you should turn around and you should ignore them, kick them out of your community, and you just shouldn't deal with them. It's I don't know. People underestimate, especially back when they were writing these books and stuff. You have these very small, close-knit communities. What happens if the people that you all grew up with, you did something fucking awful, and they kick you out of town? What are you going to do now? Where are you going to get food? They'll just tell you to get the fuck out. You're probably going to go wander around and die. What else are you going to do? But that's why they trick everybody into living in these big cities, and now everything is so interconnected. You do something wrong, you can just go somewhere else real quick. But now they're trying to change that again too, because you have all these people that are getting perma canceled on the internet, and if you guys take me out of context, or even in context with a lot of the stuff that I say, and you post me around, it's like if I go back to America, oh yeah, I saw that video where you were extremely racist. Sorry, I can't hire you. So I don't know. But old America, 80 years ago, probably would have gave me a cookie for that. So.
Yeah. What does Trump's assertion that Russia could destroy Ukrainian cities very quickly, but chooses not to indicate about Russia's strategic restraint, and how does this bolster Moscow's position in the talks?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's some people like to try and use say when America went into Iraq as some sort of example. Well, they didn't go and level these cities the way that Russia's leveling them right now, but the United States wasn't fighting a real well-armed and well-trained fighting force. And the Ukrainians they're a good fighting force, but Moscow has the firepower. They could destroy all of the major cities. They could destroy the infrastructure if that's what they wanted to do.
That's what America normally does when they go in. They destroy power plants, water plants, and everything else first.
That's exactly what they do. And Russia doesn't want to do that because they don't actually hate these people. And I think in a way Putin was expecting that with Trump coming in that things would change. And also he wants to do everything by the UN convention, right? Everything they've done has been by the rules.
Because Putin's a lawyer.
Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, they've done everything by the rules, even though they're the only ones that operate that way. If they want to, sure, they could lob a bunch of missiles at Kyiv. They could go and take out the leadership. They could take out the power supply, everything. And then, what's Ukraine going to do then? But I don't think they want to do that. And they don't want these people to hate them. I actually don't believe that the average Ukrainian really hates Russians. I think that's all propaganda, because I have Ukrainian friends in Canada as well, and they don't hate Russians. And actually, there's a lot of them as well that maybe they don't love Putin, but they don't like Zelensky, and they think that he's a big part or a big reason for this whole conflict. So
well, but you're talking to what, Ukrainian men?
Yeah, and well, that's the funny thing though, because my friends also, my one friend is married, another friend has a girlfriend, and I've talked to enough women, and the women, they aren't going and dying for it, and they're much more emotional creatures. So yeah, they are dick riding Zelensky, saying, "Oh yeah, we need more from the West, and we need to go all in," and they really hate on Russia. A lot of these guys I talk to, they say, "You know what? Like, what are we fighting for?" My friend Vlad, when I ask him about it, he says, "You know what? I'm a Canadian now," and he says, We're supposedly fighting because we're this democratic. We want to be a democratic country like the West. He's telling me, yeah, we're just as corrupt as Russia or worse. He tells me this all the time. So what are they fighting for? And back to the original question, yeah, Russia absolutely has the potential to do it. They just haven't done it because they don't want to inflict that kind of pain on people like that. People that don't actually believe in the war, or maybe they're neutral. My friends are from Zaporozhye, and so Zaporizhia, I don't fucking know. But they said, yeah, like grew up speaking Russian their whole lives. That was what they that was the main language everybody spoke in, and they never had any sort of negative emotions towards Russians. So I think it's people like this that Putin doesn't want to go and just kill these people,
Well, we've talked about this on the show. We've had a vote in our Telegram chat before, which very quickly lost us a few subscribers because, like you said, women are very emotional. They're very easily swayed using emotional arguments.
Well, look at van der Leyen. What's the name? The German
Merkel,
Brock.
Brock.
Well, sure, you have all
Callas,
those leaders and stuff, but I'm talking about even just like the average women of a country where they're walking around, and because
who doesn't have to go die in the war?
Well, and we were talking about it before the show started. Like in Canada, they'll complain about how they can't walk around on the streets anymore because it's unsafe. But then they vote and they want to be nice to all of these foreigners. We just have to help all of them, because it's like when you bring a girl to the fucking animal shelter, like
they wanna save every animal.
Every fucking animal's gonna come home. We're gonna get 18 cats and 16 dogs today because I just need all of them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is they get the same emotional reaction when they vote for, oh, I just need all these brown people. I need to help all them, or suddenly they become nationalists where they've never thought twice about speaking the Ukrainian language, and so now suddenly I have to be a nationalist for Ukraine, but you men, you have to go fight for me. And that's where you get these video clips of, you ever see those chicks on the rooftop in Ukraine on the bicycles? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, they're pedaling on stationary bikes, right? Like doing like a workout thing. It's like and they're like pedaling and stuff. And then suddenly there's a bunch of fucking rockets and shit blowing up behind them, and like, cuz it's a bunch of fucking girls working out in their fucking spandex shorts and stuff, and you got a bunch of dudes dying right behind you. Oh, it's normal for us. Who cares? So, I don't know. It's you have all these people that just grift off of, and I won't say it's only women. I think a lot of men are emotional about too many things too.
Yeah, and especially in the West, you have these men that they go more that way because they can't get a girl themselves.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is they're doing it for pussy. It's how much are you willing to give up and betray your own country, your own people for money, pussy, whatever, like all these girls that you see doing all this shit on TikTok and like they're grifting for all that liberal stuff. Like, they're just doing it because they get more followers, they get more attention. It's the same thing as if I gave somebody $100,000 to say I hate my country. But the women get paid in attention. They get paid in other ways. It's but it just goes back to the fact that people are easily corruptible, and well, America was funneling all this money into it, and this is the whole entire intention. And
If you want to send us money so Michael can trash the West, go ahead.
yeah, send me money, and I will spend it on alcohol to fuel my hate.
Yes.
Yep, every beer it rises just a little bit, right? The level.
So how does Russia's demand for no NATO membership for Ukraine, as reaffirmed in Saudi Arabia, fit with Trump's vision of ending the Ukraine conflict fairly without American troops?
Well, obviously, Putin already said it, and I got into an argument with somebody about this. Maybe it was yesterday. They were talking about how Putin said Ukraine is a sovereign nation. We're not going to tell them that they can't have these elections, or they can't do this, or they can't do that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're even open for them to join the EU.
Yeah, you can join the EU if you want, but for military matters, it's different. And then somebody said that was contradictory. And I said, it's not. Because how is an EU army or NATO, how is that a sovereign nation? It's not. It's a gathering of nations intentionally siphoning off money from people, creating a large army that otherwise would not be able to be made, and then you use it to bully people into turning into whatever this EU, just no country image, like no identity, like you're just turning into this. Everybody just says EU, EU, EU.
Well, who's the army there to fight against, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not there to fight against like Iran or some, African, Asian nation. There's only so many countries in Europe that aren't part of the alliance. And, only one that is a significant fighting force that you would need an army like that to fight against. So it's pretty clear who their weapons are aimed at. Well,
and Iran hasn't done anything. Like, what have they done? Nothing. No. You can't even list anything.
No.
And so why are we attacking them? Just because
Israel wants you to.
Exactly. Yep. And so that gets back to the whole big thing of, who keeps the EU going with all this bullshit and all the NATO bullshit, and who's sitting here and influencing all of your elections, and you look at who owns all the media, and I'm probably gonna shoot myself in the back of the head tomorrow and 7 times.
So how does it fit into Trump's plan? Well, I don't think Trump ever wanted to have this many troops in Europe. How many troops did I don't remember the number, but the Biden administration had what was it, maybe 40,000 American troops in all of Europe?
Oh, that's not even very much.
No, like before the war. Before the war.
I think it's more than that.
More than that? I don't remember how much it was, but I know that they, after the war started, they went and committed a shit ton more.
Well,
I don't think that Trump wants this presence. So how it fits into his approach is I think that he wants to pull a lot of these troops out, and NATO's not paying.
You've already got a fuckload of bases in Germany. You've got joint bases in France, the UK.
I know in the Baltics,
Spain,
Canada's responsibility is Latvia.
65,754 active troops in EUCOM.
And that's not including contractors or...
As June of 30 last year,
It's got to be a lot more than that. And that's just what they're telling you.
Yeah, but I remember when the conflict had first started that the Biden administration immediately committed more troops to all of these bases. And I think Trump probably sees this as a waste of resources, especially when these countries aren't paying their way, as he says. So it fits perfectly into his whole plan, because he's been trying to scale out of Europe as far as the military goes, and Russia's more than happy to see that happen. That's one of the main reasons for the whole conflict in the first place.
Yeah, I heard he's going to pull the troops out of the Chihuahua states, the Baltics.
Oh yeah. And Canada, I don't know what our actual deployment is there, but technically we're supposed to be like the protector of Latvia. Not to say that we have much of an army anymore, but
Russia's trembling with Canada there.
Yeah, for sure. For
this
sure.
is another big problem too.
Our tampons in the bathrooms.
We were talking earlier about the Belarusian dissenters, the ones that they're currently staying in Vilnius.
Yeah, Poland, Vilnius.
Well, they think that certain regions of Poland and Lithuania, especially Vilnius, the Vilnius region is supposed to be part of Belarus.
Yeah. They're talking about going back to the Grand Duchy of Lithuania and that kind of thing.
Well, and also a lot of the people here that are true Belarusians, they also believe that Vilnius belongs to Belarus. So you have on both ends of the scale, everybody wants Vilnius. But if you look at the population of Lithuania, I don't know how many people it is, but it's like well over half the people all live in that one city. So, why does their country even exist? Why isn't it just Belarus?
They're big villages, those countries.
Well, yeah, but almost everybody lives in Vilnius. And
So-
a lot of them are Belarusian descendants. They're
Yeah.
Belarusian blood. So why does Lithuania even exist?
I'm seeing on Google here 546,000 in 2021 was the population of Vilnius.
And how many live in Lithuania?
Yeah. Let's see here. What is the population of Lithuania?
It's like
2.87 million in 2023. So that would be, I'm guessing, with refugees as well. Maybe not. Maybe that's just citizens.
Probably, yeah. Well, and that's from 2 different years too.
Yeah.
So,
About a
but
2-year
my
gap.
my point is their capital, where most of the people live. Well, everybody in Belarus, whether they're the dissenters or the traditionalists, everybody agrees that they think that Vilnius is part of Belarus.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, when I came to Belarus, I first had to stop off in Vilnius. I flew into Vilnius, and then I got my visa done at the Belarusian consulate and took a bus over. And I kept seeing this crest, of the...
that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the exact same one as what historically was Belarusian. I guess that's Grand Duchy. But yeah, it's also the same one that these Belarusian dissidents are using as well.
It's the same flag the Nazi collaborators used.
Okay.
Just saying. Why do you think...
But when you get into that conversation, everybody says Nazi collaborators like it's a bad thing. Honestly, everything has been changed so much. You don't.
No, not here. I mean, they actually shot a lot of people here.
Well,
I mean, the Holocaust was the Holocaust of Slavs, not of Jews.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing.
A lot of people here were just shot, and there's huge amounts of graves everywhere here. Not like
The Jews were thrown in work camps because
Auschwitz
they were
was-
communists.
Auschwitz was a work camp. It wasn't a death camp.
Yeah, well, they went. The plaque out front said originally 4 million, and now I think it says 1.
Yeah, Poland have said there was only 1.2 million in Auschwitz.
Yeah, but there was a large Jewish population here in Belarus.
I think Belarus and
but
Ukraine
have a
had the
look.
biggest.
If you go to that, what's it, Katan? That,
Katyn Forest.
yeah, no. The here the memorial. It shows you every village and every city, how many people were killed in each place.
Yeah.
But
I'll take you there if you want.
all of
I'm
those.
going to take Michael and Yanis. So if we can all go at the same time if you want.
The only thing that you know is that you don't know because you weren't there, and they've changed so much fucking shit, and all the numbers, all the reports, everything keeps on getting changed, and
25% of the population here was killed.
I think it was about. It was almost 1 in 2
It's
of their
20
male population, right?
Yeah, it was 25%.
But my
But I mean,
point
of the
is,
male population.
you don't know if the Germans did it. You don't know if the Bolsheviks did it. You don't. So everybody keeps on associating everything with the, it's bad because it was with the Soviets, or it was bad because it was with the Nazis, or you don't really know anything that happened. They feed you all this shit, and
there's so Katyn Forest, that was
no, that's a different one.
It's a different one.
Yeah, that's in near Poland where all those.
oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
That's
why.
where the office is now.
So KH in English, it's not. It's just huh. It's huh.
Katan.
Hatin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here,
So
yeah.
I don't-
So if you go here, these are all the villages that were wiped out. There's
Yeah.
400 something like that, completely wiped out. They've just rebuilt the church there.
Well,
I'm not saying that I attribute it all to let's say Nazism, but
but
there was a lot of partisan activity in Belarus, and their solution for partisans was they just shot them.
Yeah, the biggest partisan was here.
And so when they ran into partisans, they just shot them. That's the difference between the Belarusians and then the Jewish population. They were mostly thrown into these camps because they were
Yeah,
communists.
see, there's 260 death camps just here in Belarus.
Yep.
well, but that's the other problem is that you see that there's all these death camps and stuff, but the only people that ever found death camps were the Bolsheviks. The camps that they liberated very conveniently, those are the only ones that were death camps. So we don't know. That's what I'm saying. You can't know. There's no way you can know. You don't know who did it. You don't know why.
Yeah.
Everything has been scrubbed. It's been changed.
Not here. It's different here, not compared to what happened on the other side.
But you see, in Berlin they have all of those memorials for the 6 million Jews that were killed, and how many times has that number been changed and lowered? But everybody knows 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews, and you never hear. Do you know how many Canadians died in World War II? How many?
I think for us it was something around like maybe 40,000.
See, I don't even know how many Americans died in World War II.
50 something.
You would have to. I'd have to Google it because all anybody ever remembers is how many fucking times have you been told 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews.
Yeah, I think for us it was around 40,000. We were committed earlier than the Americans with because we were still somewhat Commonwealth. But I agree. Lukashenko actually famously said as well that the Jews try to pass off the Holocaust as if it's their massacre, but their numbers went up. The Slavic
420,000 US.
No.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was something more like that.
That's in the US.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the big thing is you have it's only a genocide when it's against the Jewish population. That's the only time that they've admitted that because
You were right, 42,000 Canadians.
But you ask the average Canadian.
That's impressive that you knew that off the top of your head because I didn't even know how many Americans died. I've read it a bunch of times. I've Googled it whenever I think about it. But do I remember it? No, because I have that 6 million number stuck in my fucking head.
Yeah, if you ask the average Canadian, they've got no fucking clue. This is something that I've dedicated a lot of time to.
30,000 Australians.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot.
Hmm.
And you guys have way less people at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in the First World War as well, Canada lost a significant amount of the population. Going off topic here a little bit, but there was a lot of stories because in the First World War, the way that we did our units was we took everybody from their village. It wasn't like you took them from all different parts of the country and threw them in a unit. So we were Commonwealth then, and that was kind of what bought us our freedom, I guess, from the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
But what was really crazy is they made a big mistake taking everybody from the same town because after the war you had all these towns that were just full of women with no husbands because some units got completely wiped off the map.
Well, I'm sure that was good for the select few that were left.
Yeah. If you were a dude in that town, you were doing all right.
Damn.
Australians in World War One.
Well, and getting dragged into World War One that also doesn't make sense. And
Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, exactly. See, so once you start looking into this stuff, especially once you start liking a few questionable posts on Instagram, don't worry about it. Instagram will do you the favor of there's a very large community of people on there posting all the things that don't make sense, and you'll start to see it. But I'm assuming if you found this podcast by now that probably your Instagram probably looks similar to mine. So
Yeah. Why do you think Saudi Arabia's mediation led to such a significant outcome like lifting sanctions on Russian bank cards and reopening embassies? And how does this reflect Russia's growing global influence?
I mean, they tried to basically slowly strangle Russia, and Russia just kept on growing. So now you're going to open it back up, and America was losing money off of it, and everybody else.
Well, like they said, they were shocked when they found out. We're getting down to that in a minute. The 300 billion, so we'll get down to that in the next.
Well, yeah, everybody was losing money off of it. You know, like Russia is just okay. I'll just deal with China and all these BRICS countries and everybody else, and can fuck off. And I mean, like I see stuff that even here in Belarus that like we're not supposed to be able to get. You know, like I can find like Carolina Reaper hot sauce from Louisiana in the store near my house.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
I need to get my hands on that.
I'm dead serious. You gotta come to the meat market near my house, and like they've got these beautiful, delicious golden pineapples that are just perfectly grown. They're expensive though. Like I had to spend like $20 on one. You can get the cheap ones from the grocery store, and they're real cheap. But like they got this fruit store near my house, and everything there is just absolutely perfect.
Oh, there you go. Like this. Look.
Yeah exactly.
I took that today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's at the regular.
Right around here?
No, that's the Corona at Zamak shopping centre.
Oh, Zamak. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so,
that's a nice spot.
Yeah, so that's just a normal supermarket, and as you can see, the pineapples there.
Well, it's not a normal supermarket. Like that's a big supermarket.
Well, it's a supermarket there. So just scrolling through the food, as you can see here.
That's like the different, but that's like Walmart is a supermarket in America. But then you have those super Walmarts. You ever been into one of them?
Grapes and nice
Yep.
yellow bananas. And
Yeah, the problem with America going and leaving
peppers or capsicums, as we call them.
What is it?
What do you call them?
The real name's capsicum.
Capsicum.
The
What
peppers.
is?
The peppers.
Well, capsaicin is like
No,
the
capsicum. That's actually the real name for them.
what?
Interesting. I did
Yeah,
not know that.
yeah. I'll show you.
Capsicum.
Okay, anyway, keep talking, and I'll get this for you while you're doing that.
Well, I was gonna say like you got like your Walmart, right? Which like I've got like a supermarket near my house.
Yeah.
But these pictures he's showing you, like this is like when you ever been into a Walmart super center?
Yeah, I know.
It's like
Zamak.
a fucking Costco, you know?
Yeah.
that's it.
Well, Zamek is like
See, look, see?
Okay.
See? That's what it is. That's actually what they're really called.
well, yeah.
You guys call them peppers.
Well,
I
yeah.
had
in
no idea.
English, capsaicin.
Capsicum.
Capsicum.
I know. Capsaicin is that's what makes peppers spicy.
Yeah. It's a genus flowering plant. There you go. See? So that's what we call them in Australia. We don't call them peppers. Anyway.
Wait, so what do you call a bell pepper? A bell capsicum?
Like a red
I don't
capsicum?
know. Red capsicums, orange capsicums, yellow capsicums.
But what about all the different shapes? Chili pepper? It's a chili
We have
capsicum?
we have chili pepper.
Oh,
We call
see,
chili
so
pepper.
it is pepper.
But as far as economic markets go, it was a big mistake for all these American companies pulling out because
No, we'll get down to that in a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Well, give me. Don't jump.
Well, but not just. So
No,
the
is
thing
it-
is,
yeah, well,
once they start opening it up, and everything starts to go back to normal, you're about to see this is the same thing that just happened with all the COVID stuff. They're intentionally trying to make life difficult for Americans, Canadians, Europeans, and that's it. That's the only people that the sanctions, the COVID stuff, that's only affecting us. And so you see over here, like India doesn't have any qualms about continuing to trade with Belarus and Russia. There's a bunch of fucking Indian stuff here.
it was like these pineapples that are all flown in for the South America.
Yeah, like nobody is following all this stuff. The only people that are following all these weird regulations and lockdowns and stuff are European countries and the colonies. That's it.
Yep.
And so I don't know. Are they intentionally weakening us? Are they trying to get rid of us? Well, I think it's really good news for Russia, actually, because as soon as everything opens back up, there's going to be like a big period of everything here is just going to flourish. It's going to be crazy.
Do you think when they drop the sanctions on Russia, it's going to happen here? And then the second question is, when they drop the sanctions, do you think the EU will, or will that come later?
I think it's implied that Belarus is just somehow thrown in with the regulation, the regulations and sanctions. It doesn't really make sense, though.
Well, as we reported last show, they had that undersecretary came here to talk to Lukashenko and the KGB head about dropping sanctions.
Well, it doesn't make sense that Belarus was included in the first place. Belarus didn't have anything to do with the war, and they weren't involved. The only thing they did was they let the troops go through the bottom portion of
In Endgame.
Well, it's like Lukashenko comedically said. He said, well, no, they were in Belarus doing training exercises, and how Putin decides to withdraw his troops from our country is up to him.
Well, yeah, because it's the same thing as, I don't know, like imagine there was a country next to Canada that we had to attack, like Greenland. You know? And that's a big thing right now. So let's imagine that Greenland doesn't like Trump's remarks, and they throw some rocks at us or whatever the fuck they have up there, right? Mm-hmm. Ice balls. And so they throw ice balls at us, and then we decide...
you've got a US base on there anyway.
Well, but we talked to Canada, and we're like, hey, we have to go attack Greenland. Like, can we, like, walk through Canada real quick? Oh, yeah, sure. You know,
yeah, no problem, bud.
Don't
worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
And
no problem, bud.
And then do you think the whole entire world is going to sanction Canada because we walk through there? No, because we're fucking huge, and Canada has no option. Who's that fucking comedian that I always see? He's doing the podcasts and stuff. It's not I'm trying to think of his name, but he's like a short, kind of chubby guy with the dark hair. And he was talking about how...
Tim Dillon?
No. Canada only
Tim
exists...
Dillon gay?
I think he is.
He just got married to a woman.
So I saw that.
A lot of gay guys
I'm
do that.
super confused right now about this.
He said he'd given up being gay.
Yeah, I guess she must be a good girl.
Anyway, yeah.
Did he find Jesus, or
I don't know. That's just a sidetrack there, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I heard that as well, and I was like, really? Because this guy doesn't seem so.
I don't even know who this dude is.
Tim Dillon.
Yeah, I have no
I
idea.
have a look on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is he Canadian?
No, he's American. He's in California.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But he does like a podcast every Monday. He's a comedian, but he does politics. It's pretty funny actually. You might like it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well,
I saw that was really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, one, I didn't know he was gay anyway.
I couldn't tell if it was like a meme or like if it was real. But
well, does he just like seem gay? Does he act gay?
No, like
did he just say that? Because I don't know.
No, I heard from my buddy that he's like actually fully gay. And
but he just got married to a woman.
Yeah, and then that came out. So like, I have no idea.
Okay. Thanks.
Well,
see what Trump's done to people.
Yeah. Evil orange man.
It's turning the gay people ungay.
Yeah.
But somebody said it, like, Canada has only existed in recent history because America allows it to. Like,
no, that's where all the royalists ran away, wasn't it? When you had the War of Independence, isn't that what happened? They all ran away and started Canada.
Originally, we had all the support of the British military, and
but it's very easy to outpace Canada when your temperature is much lower up there. You can't grow as much food. It's a lot harder to live. That's why, what is it, like 90% of Canadians live right next to the American border?
It's 80% live along the border. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much like the way that the border got made is from that war, because we both built forts on each side, and it was like impossible to cross over to the other one. So that's why like a lot of times when you're going to America, you're crossing over bridges. So I mean that's why in the beginning we became a country, and then we obviously had the backing of the British, and I guess the French as well. But over time I guess we've just been good neighbors.
So. Well, I mean, you guys have been seriously outpaced, and I don't know, in recent history, the past 30, 40, 50 years, the climate in Canada politically, not temperature-wise, the temperature there is always cold. You guys are just always fucking frozen. You guys walk around like penguins.
Yeah, I go to school on skates.
Right. And but everything there has changed so much, and you guys have brought in a lot of fucking bullshit. And like there's a lot of drugs that even come from Canada.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's been pretty crazy in my lifetime. I'm only 23 years old, but see my country be almost at a peak and then be where it is now, because I remember maybe around like the 2010s, there was a lot of people that were saying that actually Canada might be better than the States just because our dollar was almost on par with yours.
Well, and
but we had the healthcare, and the healthcare system actually functioned well. Now it's in complete shambles. It's a complete mess. But then it functioned well. Too many people, yeah, too many people exploiting it. But growing up, I
bringing those people in, they've got all those problems because they have marrying their cousins and
yeah.
That sort of thing.
But that's funny because he mentions that, and you mentioned the value of the dollar almost becoming the same. I saw a graph where you see the average GDP per person, and you see how much they've actually contributed to Canada. And you guys, they had another one where it was USA average, and it, like, everybody's like,
yeah.
And Canada almost got up, and then as soon as you started bringing in all those fucking people, it just went straight down the fucking shitter.
We absolutely
because they're takers, they're not makers.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, what's that Japanese word? Is it seppuku or something?
Seppuku?
Yeah. We absolutely suicided the economy. We nuked it.
It's ritualistic suicide. It's fancy suicide.
Yes, going back to the hats, right?
Well, no, it's ritualistic. Like, do you know what seppuku is?
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah,
and you gotta put it in, and then you gut yourself, and it's fucking
for
awful.
honor.
Yeah,
but no, in my lifetime, I'd lived in, like, when Canada was really, I don't know if it was necessarily peak, but especially the U.S. went through that financial crisis. It didn't hit us the same way that it hit a lot of other countries. We had some decent leadership at the time. And our dollar was getting good. People were able to own homes. You were able to buy a house. It wasn't gonna cost an arm and a leg.
And then as soon as you bring those people in, the house prices go up because there's less houses.
Yeah, and like we'd had immigration, but I don't remember as a kid walking around and thinking, wow, like, look at all these people from other countries. Now, yeah, dollars shit. Nobody can buy a house. We're just full of foreigners now. Yeah, it's crazy to see how it's fluctuated just in my lifetime, 23 years.
Well, and it's funny that we talk about that too, because I saw something on Instagram where it was this. Of course, it was some brown lady. I don't know exactly what she was, but it was a video where she was trying to do a lesson showing that babies are racist.
Oh shit!
Which
from Canada?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is where it gets fun. Obviously, studies show that babies implicitly trust and people that look like their parents. Because that's your tribe, that's your people, that's who you're supposed to be looking at.
Yeah.
So you see somebody strange, you see some random brown person or something. If you're white, then it's scary. If you're a black kid and you've only seen black people and you see a white person, that's going to be scary for a little baby, Brains are built off of pattern recognition and memorization and,
it's centuries of development.
Right, and comfortability. Outsiders are naturally, they're supposed to be alarming because you shouldn't know if you can trust an outsider. Well, this lady said that only white babies are racist, and that other babies are not, and that is just absolutely not true. They're all the same, and I've seen studies about it before. But this woman is trying to teach, and I think this is in a college course, that only only white babies are racist. And we have to figure out how to make white babies less racist. We have to show them more people of color. And we have to show them more gay stuff and blah, blah, blah. To make them the same as the rest of the babies.
Yeah, well, there's a ginormous pipeline of bullshit science like that.
Well, but it's the whole thing is that's when they say the quiet part out loud, you know? Yeah. That's all it is. We're going to show white children, white babies, more of this bullshit so that way we can bring them down to the same level where all of these other people are. And we're going to turn you into one gelatinous blob with no color, no identity, no nothing. And you're going to subsidize all these people, and you're not going to complain about it, or we're going to label you, we're going to fire you, we're going to make your life fucking suck, and you're just going to keep living like this, and you're going to like it.
Given Marco Rubio's acknowledgement that ending the Ukraine conflict will require concessions from all sides, what specific concessions might Russia expect from Ukraine and the West in the coming negotiations?
Well, 100%.
No
There's
NATO.
going to be no NATO.
That's one.
Yeah, without a doubt. There can be no NATO in Ukraine.
It's a bullshit organization that shouldn't exist in the first place.
Yeah.
It's outlived its like,
purpose.
Yeah.
Its entire purpose. Yeah. Well, I think Putin said it was made to combat the Soviet Union.
The Warsaw Pact.
The Warsaw Pact, yes, which doesn't exist anymore as far as I remember.
Well,
yeah, what other kind of concessions can they expect? I think it would also go a long way if there was a little bit of a withdrawal from some of those other border states. I mean, the amount of military hardware that's sitting in Poland right now.
There's lots on the border with here.
Yep. Yeah, well, exactly. And they're always trying to say that, like, I remember, especially in the early stages of the conflict, they're saying, oh, Belarus is going to join Russia in the invasion. No, they aren't. Belarus has an army that can defend itself. There's no world where Belarus is going to go and invade Poland, especially now that Poland has essentially taken over Germany's spot as, like, America's...
Lukashenko or Belarus have never threatened anybody.
No, they haven't. But even if you want to talk about capability, I mean, they have no capability to do that. They're able to defend themselves, and that's as far as it goes. And also, if you talk about the Belarusian conscience, I mean, the amount of people that they've lost, especially in the Second World War, I mean, it was devastating. It was the most devastating war for them specifically. Yeah. Like we were saying before, they lost almost 1 in 2 of their men. That's why when you would go to these small villages, the derevnya, you look at the plaques and it'll be like just the exact same family name, just you've got grandfather, father, son, just it goes
exactly.
Yeah, so these people want no part in any of the conflict. They might have their different views. Maybe some support Russia, some don't. But no matter which side they're on, they have no interest in having any conflict, no matter what the country is.
Exactly.
So yeah, why build up so big in Poland? I mean, the Baltic states, it's just a joke.
Well, I think that all goes back to once an organization starts to get overbloated, and you see it with the American government. As soon as they figure out how much money they can make off of it, well, even when I was in the Army, like if you didn't fly the helicopter so many hours per month, and you didn't show that you needed this much fuel. School districts do it all the time.
It's surpluses.
Yeah, if there's a surplus and you show that you can save money, then that means you get less money next year. Mm-hmm. So we have to show that we need more money. So all of them do that. Every organization does that. They have to show we need more money, we need more money, we need more money. So if the only way to get ahead is to be overbloated, then that's what you're going to do. That's why everything just keeps on growing way out of proportion.
But as far as concessions go, like it's the Cuba-Turkey situation, except Russia's not in Cuba. You know, why do we have to have all this hardware on their border? And it's, you know, defensive alliance, like we were, you know, saying before, defensive. But it's all pointed in one direction. And Russia, right from the beginning, when Putin had got in, he tried to stick his hand out, you know, put out the olive branch. And when it was Yeltsin, well, they loved him because he was just drunk and you know, he wasn't a strong leader. Russia was not strong under him, and they'd hoped in the beginning, you know,
and Western countries were just taking advantage of.
They were just taking advantage of him, yeah. And with Putin, he got in, and at first, you know, things were friendly. But when they started to realize that this guy means business and he's a serious leader, well, that's when it started to become a problem for them. And then that's when you see this hostile turn. You know, NATO enlargement. It was never necessary, and that was part of the agreement with Gorbachev on ending the pact. So, yeah, I think for sure you've got to take, especially like any type of long range weaponry, you've got to move it from, you know, firing range, firing distance.
Yeah, they should move NATO out of all the old Eastern Bloc countries.
That would be probably the best solution. Now is that what's going to happen? I think I don't know. Now I don't know. Also, we could see, not now, but in time, NATO completely dissolve. It's like he's saying, it's a bloated organization with no purpose.
Yeah, well, the EU wants to make their own army. If they do that, NATO will disappear.
Well, and like they said about, well, with any type of empire, you know, they need to have big enemies. That's the whole idea. So,
well, that's why they want to have an Asian NATO.
Yeah, exactly. And for Trump, you know, he doesn't see it the same way. But as far as the deep state was concerned, if they didn't have an enemy like Russia, an enemy like China, then you know, what's the purpose for a lot of the actions that are taken?
Yeah. How does the U.S. delegation's discovery of the $300 billion in losses for American companies leaving Russia influence Trump's willingness to lift sanctions, and what economic benefits could Russia gain?
Well, I think obviously Russia is still a normal country with normal people, normal leadership. You keep on having all these EU weird leaders and all this weird stuff going on, and but this is the problem. In America, you have it flip-flops. You have Trump is normal, then you have somebody else, then Trump is normal. What's going to happen the next election? Obviously, Trump wants to jump back into everything because we're losing so much money, but I don't know. The next president after him, they don't care if they're shooting themselves in the foot. They don't care what they're doing to the people. They don't care about the constituents. They just care about forwarding whatever this global initiative is, whatever the collective wants.
Well, look at the Baltic states. They disconnected from the electricity. Now their power prices have quadrupled.
Yeah, and they're shutting down factories.
Yeah, because they can't afford to run them.
But you'd think that they would have learned after they made all those sanctions on Russia getting fish. And then they figured out, oh yeah, only Russia eats sprats. So now all the sprat factories, all the fish farms, they're just out of business. They don't exist anymore. So who are you really hurting with all this? It's not Russia. Russia is a huge landmass. They have everything they could ever want. You should be begging to do business there because they have more than what you do. They have everything.
Yep.
So I don't understand what their ideas are here. It's just common sense doesn't exist anymore. People are unreasonable. Like we were saying before, you know, with all the bloat, it has to be justified somehow. So you have to turn somebody into a bad guy. You have to paint that picture. You have to give the people somebody to be angry at in order to not be angry at you when you take things away from your people. And it's a classic case of watch the left hand while the right hand, you know, steals something out of your pocket. it's just it's sleight of hand, it's misdirection, and people that are smart enough to pay attention, a lot of them, they don't want to. It's depressing. I knew that a lot of this was happening.
Yeah, but a lot of people are just struggling enough to get with their lives. They haven't got time to look into it, or when they get home they're just completely exhausted, working 2 or 3 jobs or whatever just to survive with their families.
Well, exactly. So a lot of people, they just I don't know, they just stop. You know, they stop caring. They stop watching anything. I know that's what I did for a really long time. I didn't pay attention to any of this stuff. I
didn't pay attention for years.
I just went to work, read books, played video games, stopped talking to people because people got increasingly more annoying. So
I think the COVID thing started waking up a lot of people to start looking into things as well.
Yeah. COVID was just to intentionally drive an economy into the dirt like that, under the guise of protecting people. And then you see all of those shots that were obviously untested and did a lot of crazy stuff to people. You had people getting fired from almost every job you can think of for refusing to get the shots. And,
yeah. No, but I'm saying it woke a lot of people up and they started researching a lot of things after that.
Well, because they had a lot of time to spend at home because they weren't able to...
Oh, and they also saw that what was going on. They're thinking, hang on. And then they started looking at other things, saying, "Oh, this is happening as well." Oh,
but they were sitting at home a lot because
exactly.
you couldn't
go to work.
Yeah, you couldn't go to work. You couldn't gather. You couldn't do anything. You were just sitting at home and I don't know, what are your 2 options? Play with your ass or fucking read a book. You know, so people, the modern book is, I'm gonna Google this, and then it leads to this, then it leads to this, and
it leads to people with small hats. What role might Trump's investigation into the Biden-era dirty business deals in Ukraine play in shaping the US's approach to peace talks? And how could this benefit Russia's position?
Well, I think it would be good for Russia to see as well. Trump gives some transparency on what's been going on over the last, how many years. I think it's really interesting, as we all saw, that Biden went and pardoned all these people going back to 2014. Yeah.
And his son as well.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, we all know that there was a lot going on there, but we don't know how much exactly, right? So I think it's about time everybody knows, and it would go a long way with the relationship with Russia and Putin, if he can give some transparency on that. And also, I think that a lot of Americans as well will be rightly outraged. So in general, I think it's good for both sides.
Yeah, Michael.
I'm about to forward you
something.
Yeah. That Steve was nice enough to post in a different chat. I don't know. You're just gonna see that. I keep on talking about it over and over again. How much money does it take for you to betray your countrymen? But in this case, the Biden dirty business deals that you're talking about, a lot of that was done with they were stealing from Ukraine. You had all these people that were giving all this stuff to Ukraine, and
yeah, I saw that photo. I saw this photo. That's a man. Come on.
It's Macron's wife.
Oh, yeah. There's been a lot coming out on that.
It's like a gorilla wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's got bigger shoulders than I do.
Yep.
Yeah, here we go. Where is it?
That's a linebacker.
There.
That's
a linebacker for sure.
I wonder, like, is Macron like stuffing his shoes? Because that bitch is definitely bigger than he is.
Definitely looks like a wig.
Oh, it's definitely a wig. You gotta hide that male pattern baldness somehow.
Yeah.
Stuffing apples into the bra too is what it looks like. Why are your shoulders so big but your legs are so skinny? There's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, Candace Owens has been going through episodes on this at the moment.
She's really been hammering down on it.
They threw multiple French women in jail for complaining about it.
Well, there was journalists that were getting really attacked in France over this. And then when she blew it open, that kind of changed the whole thing, right?
I saw somebody, it was earlier today, I saw a picture that somebody found a man, a picture of a young man that has the exact same face as her.
Oh, the brother, supposedly.
Yeah, well, one thing that Candace Owens talks about is when you see their family photos from, back in the day, it's only one boy. There's not,
there's no daughter.
Yeah, there's no daughter, and
where is the brother?
Well, that's the thing. So when the brother kind of fell off the map is when Brigitte Macron became.
It's like Obama's best friend Michael. He vanished as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Michelle guy keeps on hanging around.
Yeah.
Big Mike.
Yeah. But as far as how could Russia benefit? Well, I think it definitely legitimizes all the things that they've been saying over all these years, right? They've been going to the UN and they've been showing the documents, been showing the dirty dealings. I think it just proves that they weren't lying, and it'll also make a lot of the Europeans look really stupid, because
that wouldn't be hard.
How hard they've doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on them, and said, oh, it's all Russian propaganda, it's Russian misinformation, whatever it is, to finally have some clarification, some closure on it, and for Russia to be able to say, yeah, you know what, we weren't lying, and that would go a long way, especially because, like I said earlier, they've gone through a lot of these UN processes. They've been doing things by the book. So yeah, to be given this legitimization, that would really be a huge thing.
How should Russia interpret Trump's willingness to allow European troops in Ukraine but not American ones? And what does this suggest about the future of NATO's involvement?
Well, I think his thing is maybe he's trying to make a stance, a play, finally, back to American isolationism. I mean, why are we spending so much money around the globe? Who's it benefiting? Not us. It's not even benefiting the countries that we're in, other than you get way more DUIs right outside of the army post. You get Marines running over girls in Japan.
In Okinawa.
Yeah, in Okinawa. And then you just have all these protests. Like, who is this benefiting? Not us. Like, every once in a while you have something really fucking dumb, like those Marines in Korea that accidentally set off a tow missile like 3 days after I arrived there. Yeah, I accidentally set off tow missiles all the time. It's totally a regular occurrence. It's fucking Marines, but no, it just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Trump is a businessman. He's thinking about budget. He's thinking about money. Why are we spending all of this money? It doesn't make sense. You should be training at home. We have every single climate in America. You have every single geological I don't know, what do you want to call it, geological like you have mountains, you've got desert,
you've got the topography,
right? Yeah, like canyons and rivers and lakes, and you have everything you could ever need to train for. You got everything from Alaska to fucking Florida. So why are you off doing all these joint training exercises? Why do you need to be in Thailand and drinking snake's blood? What does that do for you? Like, why are you dealing with stuff like Panama, the canal? Like, why did we give that up? We built the fucking thing.
That was a mistake.
You know how many people built that? You know how many people died building that? That was extremely difficult. And we gave it up, and now it's just, why? It doesn't make any sense at all. And I think he's just trying to get back to, well, that's his whole thing, make America great again. I think it's a way of saying, turn us back into what we used to be. It's trying to turn back the clocks, and I don't know, unfortunately there's only so much he can do, and even if I think he was being completely intentional with his ideas, I think he still caters a little too much to other sources like Israel and other small shit like that. But I think in the long run, the next few years is going to be good. But then you're going to run into the problem of it's just going to rubber band. It's going to go back into new bullshit again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think definitely the willingness to commit European troops can be a move towards isolationism because Europe knows they don't have the capabilities without America. So it's really like you've got Germany who's already said no. Who else was it? It was Poland said no.
Hungary, Slovakia.
Hungary, yeah. All these countries are saying no. The UK is like, yeah, sure, we'll commit our fighting force.
And the French.
Well, and those are all the biggest powers.
Yeah, but then you
they're
go
not
and
big
read
powers anymore, really. Come on.
You go and read like a UK article that they barely even have like tank divisions. But then they're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna commit troops. So, yeah, I think it's almost like calling bluffs. Europe is like, yeah, we're gonna double down, we're gonna triple down.
That's what I was going to ask. This is why is Europe, as seen by Macron's urgent EU meetings, feeling threatened by the Saudi talks, and how might Russia exploit this division to strengthen its diplomatic position?
Yeah, Trump. Like we were saying, Trump wants to go more isolationist, and he knows that the Europeans have nothing without America. How does Russia benefit from the talks? Well, it's essentially America and Russia have shown that they're the two powers that are involved here. The European countries, they're no longer, like, they're sidelined.
Well, like he said, they had 3 years to say something and do something. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, so, they mean absolutely nothing.
No.
Yeah, they're completely sidelined. They're the only way that they're involved now, I guess, is really sanctions. They don't have any sort of military might that's gonna be a problem for Russia. If Russia wants to take all of Ukraine and America wants to let them, well, then the Europeans aren't going to do anything to stop that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but they've got no power in that regard. So I think that this is just pretty much the big boys are sitting at a different table.
Yeah.
Well, I think for Europe and liberal leaders in general, peace didn't matter, war didn't matter. It just matters. How can we use this to our advantage to line our pockets? How do we make Russia look bad? How do we let as many people that could compete against us die as possible? It's really just because that's why they give all the weapons. They don't commit any of their own people. Like, we'll give you planes, we'll give you rockets, we'll give you guns, whatever. Go fight your war. Take all of our shit. Go fight your war. Because they want you to die. They don't care about you. So why would Ukraine want to join the EU when they obviously don't care about you?
Oh, they don't care. Look what they're doing in Romania. They just cancelled elections and all sorts of things. They don't care about the people there.
Well,
but I think it's an underlying theme with as soon as people start to get caught with all of these liberal leaders and policies and all this stuff going on, and they figure out that running away isn't going to help. And once people start waking up to it and they start realizing that you're not on their side, you're not helping them, you don't care about them, you don't care about your country, you don't care about where you're from, you don't care about other countries, all you care about is money and playing these stupid globalist games, and eventually people just get tired of it, and you have people doubling down and tripling down because what else are they going to do? Because they know that, like, their head should be on a pike. How else are you going to run away from the problem other than You have to adamantly deny. Like, you have to say this isn't what's happening. It's not what's happening. And then as soon as people start to agree with you, then you can be like, yeah, that's what happened, but here's why it's a good thing. And then you have to try and change it and change it and change it. It's like when Trump made that policy where you can't perform the transgender surgeries on underage children anymore. They said, oh, that's not happening. That's not true. But then you slowly see that the articles change until it turns into, that's not happening. That's a lie. Into, you see, well, now all of these underage children can't get sex change operations, and now they're going to kill themselves. And so, I don't know. It's the more that they try and run away from something, the more they have to lie to you, because they weren't being honest with their intentions in the first place. And I think that's the big thing is you obviously have Trump and Putin have good intentions for Ukraine. They have good intentions for peace, for trying to take care of the people that live in their own countries and in the new regions that they're taking control of now. And they're fighting against all these people that absolutely do not have good intentions. They want to siphon all your money away. They want to take away your identity. They just don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, I also think that the lie's just gotten too big now. As far as the European powers go, I mean, how long have they been telling everybody that Russia's going to, go through all of Europe and, we need to commit more. We need to take in refugees. We need to commit more. We need to commit more. How can they turn around now and just say, you know what? That's
Czech Republic said today that as soon as there's a ceasefire, all the Ukrainians can go home.
yeah.
I just saw a post on Instagram that was showing a screenshot of a news article. So then I went and I found it, and it was a news article of Ukrainian refugees in Scotland are getting free housing and welcome to all refugees. Mm-hmm. And the picture of the Ukrainian refugee was an IT specialist.
It was a black.
It was a black guy.
Yeah.
It was that African Ukrainian. That's a Ukrainian refugee right there.
Yeah, that's because Africa was populated by Ukrainians.
What?
They dug the Black Sea. Jesus Christ was a Ukrainian.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen that? Haven't you seen the history?
No.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. They dug the Black Sea with their hands.
Yeah, we was kangs, you know.
Yeah. Jesus Christ was Ukrainian. The first European, Ukrainian.
Oh.
Yeah. So
see, this sounds like all the stuff that you see with all the Black Americans doing.
Yeah, this is in the history books.
That's what I mean. Yeah, we was kangs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Built the pyramids and.
Actually, I read about that Starmer was trying to open that program up so that they could. Well, essentially, he literally said they essentially wanted to exploit the program to use it for other refugees. It's a Ukrainian refugee program, but they want to use it for other nationalities as well. Africa.
You shouldn't be using it for Ukrainian refugees anyways, because the regions that they're fighting over, those regions already voted to be a part of Russia, and all the people that wanted to be in Russia, they fled into Russia.
Yeah, most of the Ukrainian refugees are in Russia. What are the risks for Russia if Trump's domestic power struggles, like his proposed State Security Council, distract him from the agreements in Saudi and the coming ones? What are the risks for Russia if Trump's too busy with his domestic stuff?
Well, that could be a big problem.
There's a lot to take care of there.
Well, I think one of the biggest issues with American politics and politicians in general is you ran on a platform where you were promising people stuff, and they half-ass it. They pussyfoot it. Like, stop beating around the bush. Do what you said you were going to do. Get aggressive. And if you really want to go ahead and make this lasting, then you have to make sure that you put it into a position where it's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult to reverse it. Like, become an isolationist nation in the next 4 years. It's certainly more than doable. Just pack up all your shit, go home. Why are you spending all this money outside anyways? Build up
You see, he wanted to meet with Putin and Xi and say cut all the defense budgets by half.
Yeah, I saw that, and he was also talking, I think, about nuclear disarmament as well.
They have to get all of them on board there. India, Pakistan,
Yeah,
Israel,
China,
North Korea, China.
Yeah, well,
everybody.
Israel, yeah, they,
Israel,
they don't have nukes, right?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. How might Russia leverage the plummeting approval ratings of Zelensky, now at 4%, and Trump's criticism of Ukrainians' leadership to push for a peace deal on its terms?
See, that whole 4% thing, by the way, I don't know. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You're not going to get an accurate reading. I don't think you can keep throwing that number around because.
Oh, Trump said 4%. That's all.
Yeah, well, he says 4%. Zelensky says 57%.
57, yeah.
Yeah, and either way, you're just not going to know because I don't know. Even with polls here in America, well, not here in America, in America, they do the same bullshit where they had what's her fuck, Kamala Harris, leading by double digits against Trump, which is fucking ridiculous.
There's one in the UK now, YouGov, which says that 56% of UK people want troops in Ukraine. It's just like bullshit. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think so.
All polling is bullshit. I think the number's definitely higher than 4%, just because I mean Ukraine, just like Russia, just like Belarus, they are overpopulated by women rather than men. The West, like Canada, we have more men than we have women. And like we were saying before, women are more emotional. They're more likely to be on board with this whole conflict. So I think Zelensky's number's fake, but I think it's got to be higher than 4%. Yeah.
How could Russia use the restored global functionality of Russian bank cards to rebuild its economy and counter Western sanctions, and what industries might benefit?
See, I think that here's the big issue with and we keep on talking about this on the show with all the crypto stuff. Why are they so worried about that anyways, when you could just be converting everything to the new XRP system? Japan just adopted all that stuff, and go and
buy XRP, everybody.
It's funny because like I'm buying into it as much as I can because
I wanted to, but I can't seem to do it here. It keeps on saying about my region, VPN or no VPN. Yeah.
On Coinbase.
I tried Coinbase. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because I got a Canadian phone, because I know I can't download the Wildberries app, but then Belarusians can download the Wildberries.
No,
app.
You got to change it on Google Play or whatever your app store is.
Yeah, but you can go to Wildberries, get on search engine, do Wildberries PDK, and it'll give you the PDK, and you can just download it and install it straight away. You can bypass all that.
Okay.
There you go. But crypto, you should be able to do it because you're in Canada. You should open a Canadian an account.
Yeah, I had them ready to go. I had it Binance, whatever. But still, it's saying that in my region. Yeah, I try with VPN, without VPN, but still it says my region. So it'll be nice to see these sanctions get lifted. Hopefully soon. I'd like to buy some.
Yeah, we've been buying crypto lately.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is with the XRP payments, like it goes around everything, and it pays in like 30 seconds, and like Bitcoin. Sometimes if you're sending a lot, it can take a long time, but XRP immediately, like almost immediately. All the Japanese banks are starting to do it.
Yeah, lately with the Bitcoin, when I'll be moving it, it's taken like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
I mean, I've had it like you send like a grand or $2,000 through there, and it can take 30 minutes, an hour sometimes. It's a pain in the ass. And I'm saying that's a pain in the ass. But with that old Swift system that they're using, that can take like 3 days. So why aren't you just switching? And if XRP payments you can't sanction those. there's no way.
Well, that might be why they don't want to switch it, right?
Well, exactly. But you already have Japan doing it.
Yeah, Japanese banks have started using it.
And J.P. Morgan and Chase Bank are talking about it in America. And
Well, the world will keep moving, as hard as they'll try and stop it. So it's only a matter of time, I guess, right? That's why I was looking at this as well, and my friend was telling me get into XRP. So I was researching it, and yeah, it looks like really good system, but I got to figure out how I'm going to get on that.
yeah, well, I mean, right now, if you own 2,500 XRP coins, and earlier today you could have gotten some for, I think the lowest it went was $2.47 a coin. And right now I've got like over 600 of them. And if you own over 2,500, you're in the top 10% of investors.
That's Steve.
Right.
Yeah, Steve, we were talking about this.
And Steve, he did fairly well off of XRP already.
Yeah.
And XRP is being toted on a lot of pages, especially by the...
This isn't financial advice.
Yeah, no,
This is just us.
don't listen to me. I'm mildly retarded.
Yes.
And you see, even the creator, he talks about how he thinks that Bitcoin it doesn't have any utility to it, and when it comes to, but even Bitcoin, Russia started talking about how they're going to start doing cryptocurrency, and they were talking about Bitcoin and stuff because sanctions, they don't mean anything, Like once you start to get into stuff like that, it makes it well, you always hear the classic become ungovernable.
Oh, we've had problems here getting money here, as you know. People from the West living here, and they just bring crypto in and then sell it here and get the cash.
Well, that's what I'm doing right now. So up until December, I never had a problem withdrawing on my Canadian card from just about every single bank.
Yeah.
I was able to with just about everyone, but since December, every machine I put my card into is just rejected. So
Yeah, well, now there's a limit as well.
yeah,
I mean, there was a lower limit during the voting.
yeah, it was $300 or something like
it was something crazy
month.
low.
Yeah, it was 1,000 rubles a calendar month, and now it's only 2,000 rubles a calendar month. It's just like, what the fuck?
But
It's nothing. How are you supposed to pay your rent?
Well, and that's what I was having trouble with. So essentially, like I have a Belarusian bank card as well, but still the problem was you can't just transfer from one bank to the Belarusian bank. So what I had to do is I have a friend from Russia that lives in Canada, and I would send her money from my Canadian bank card because I also can't do the crypto right now. So I would send her money from my Canadian bank card to her bank card in Canada. Then she'd do crypto to her Russian Mir card and then send it from her Mir card to my Belarusian card.
Damn, and you're losing a lot of money on the fees there.
Actually, I didn't lose any. I don't know how she did it, but I didn't end up losing any.
Well, that's where XRP comes into play. So that's the funny thing is like if you're doing it with Bitcoin or something, yeah, like you're losing money off the fees because like you'll see like I've done it, he's done it. You transfer, you buy it on whatever your exchange is, like Coinbase. Then you have to send it to a different wallet, so that way, because Coinbase you have to register with your passport and everything.
Yeah.
They know your social security number, whatever the fuck you guys have in Canada.
Yeah, we've got social security number.
So you have all that, and Coinbase knows everything. So you have to transfer it to a different wallet, and then from that wallet, then you send it to somebody else's wallet or to another wallet, and blah blah blah. You have to get it out of being traceable, and XRP, it is fast.
Yeah,
fast.
That's nice.
Every time you move it to a wallet, you lose a bit.
But with XRP, it's fast and the fees are much lower. Bitcoin, the fees are higher, and the more traffic there is on Bitcoin networks, the higher the fee goes.
And if you want it faster, you have to pay more.
Yeah. And XRP coins, it's like fractions of a fraction of a cent per XRP coin that you're sending. So if you ever have to send anything, I suggest sending it by XRP.
Yeah, I just got to get my situation figured out. Maybe I got to try my laptop instead of my phone. I don't know.
Well, if you use your laptop, Urban VPN is what you want to use.
I'm using Express.
Yeah, I use Express.
Well,
I don't have any problems.
on Urban VPN, I can get into all my bank account stuff. I can do Coinbase. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Even without my VPN, I've got no problem getting into banking or any of that stuff. It's just when it's when I'm trying to use my Binance, my Coinbase, whatever it is. In the Binance account I set up in Canada years ago. So
that's why I'm using Urban VPN. You can make it so that way like your VPN is in Canada.
Yeah, mine's sitting in Toronto right now as we speak, but then sometimes you go into the app and it'll say that it won't work with the VPN. You got to turn the VPN off, so I turn off the VPN.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. I think maybe because I have Canadian phone. I think that they do have just little differences like this.
Mm-hmm.
It might be something to do with my government's regulations. I've got no idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people.
You haven't got a local number.
I've got a local number.
Yeah, it should be all right.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking, but I've got no idea.
But it might be the Coinbase regulations in Canada.
Yeah, because the UK is restricted.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
guarantee that's what
when
it is.
we were looking at I was looking at the altcoins. On his Coinbase, he can buy them in America, but the Coinbase in the UK, you can't buy them.
Certain ones I can, certain ones no.
Yeah,
Canadian crypto regulations are insane. My one friend, he was telling me he can only do a transfer for me like about once a month, and it can only be so much because there's just too many problems with the law with that.
But one of the big things is that and Steve and I talked about this before, because when I first moved here, I was having trouble with getting VPNs that would work with my bank and blah blah blah, and I tried using Tor, and I don't know if Coinbase will work with Tor. You might have to try Tor next, but they have to go out and they have to identify each one of these exit ports that you're using as this is a VPN, this is a Tor VPN. So the only reason that a VPN works with something is that either the company doesn't care or they just haven't identified that VPN exit node yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you have to pay attention to. They just don't know. They don't know that it's a VPN yet.
Yeah.
Because that IP address, if they've marked it, then they can see it. And I think a lot of big institutions, they might share like a database or something.
Yeah.
So, because it's not like each company is going out and they have a team individually. That would be way too much manpower on that. So probably somebody is going around and finding out all the IPs for fucking everything. So stop snitching on us.
Yes, given Rubio's emphasis on the necessity of the EU joining the negotiation table eventually, how can Russia maintain its advantage while navigating European demands for sanctions relief?
Well, I don't understand why Rubio is saying that at all. The EU is not a country, and they should not be negotiating anything. They are a trade association. And
that's what it started off as, and then they got political.
Yeah. So I don't understand why they're being thought of. The EU is not a country. Stop saying EU.
Exactly.
Just stop it.
Exactly. Last question for the night. Looking ahead, what long-term strategies should Russia adopt to solidify its gains from the Saudi talks, ensuring a lasting resolution in Ukraine, while cementing its role as a key global player?
Oh, well, they basically just need to make sure that you keep everybody out of Ukraine. If you keep the EU,
no demilitarized zone.
Yeah, no DMZ.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. No foreign troops in there.
As soon as you set up a DMZ, you're just asking for fortifications right on your fucking border.
And time for them to rebuild.
But if you have it so that way life just returns to normal in that region, that's exactly what everybody wants anyways. Mm-hmm. And to ask for a DMZ instead of a return to normalcy, and if that's what the EU wants, I think that very clearly shows you what their intentions are, because the war in North Korea never ended. The reason there's a DMZ there is because it's continuing. It's only a ceasefire. We can technically break the ceasefire agreement and go attack them whenever we want.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It wouldn't be breaking any laws. We could just go in there and just bomb the absolute fuck out of them.
Yes, the war's just starting up again.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. And it very clearly shows that everybody's intention is nobody has good intentions from the EU. And I guess sure, if they want to do all that stuff, then let them throw all that money in there and let them decide each country, sure, you go do that, because as soon as you tell them that Poland, you're going to have to pony up money for it and send people there, then immediately it's going to be a no. Germany, it's going to be a no. England, it's going to be a no. Like, England, you guys don't even have English people anymore. It's all fucking Muslims. You think they're going to go fucking hang out on the DMZ in Ukraine for you? No, Muhammad's not going to fucking do that. So, you dug your own fucking grave. And for now, for the next 4 years, I guess America's going to be so let them deal with it, and I don't know, leave this area of the world alone, because I like it here, and I don't like you.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. Thanks for turning up, everybody watching. We had it peaked, well, still there, 2,000 plus people watching.
I guess I'm that entertaining.
Also, thanks for people just watching the show on Monday night. We had a irregular show where we just sat here and watched a movie, and we had how many people? 5,000 something, 700.
Oh yeah. We watched Logan's Run.
Yeah,
and that was a absolutely terrible movie.
Yeah. Well, he said it was a terrible movie.
I've never seen that
Haven't
one.
You?
No.
It was awful.
If you want to come to the next one when we have it, we just sit here and watch it and just comment on it as it's going along.
He's gonna try and come up with movies that we've never watched before. So.
Yeah, so we'll try and do that. See, that would have worked for you as well.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I guarantee I probably watched more movies than he has. I've watched a lot of movies.
A
lot.
I don't know.
I just don't get into I don't know. Once you go back to a certain point, but I mean, to be fair, A Clockwork Orange. What was that? 1979.
60 something.
19. Oh yeah. See, that's a fantastic movie, and that's older than Logan's Run.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Star Wars Episode 4 is 1977. So.
Logan's Run was 19.
Star Wars New Hope.
Yeah, 77.
Yeah, 77.
Yeah, it's a well.
Revolutionary
why do
movie.
you start on Episode 4?
It's actually quite genius, because
Four.
Wasn't it episode
it
3?
started on
four,
4, 5, 6, but it's quite genius because you've got the last 3 movies, and then people are wondering, well, how the fuck did it get this way?
Yeah.
You go back and show them exactly how it got that way.
Yeah,
so.
but then he waited like 25 years.
And they ruined the first 3.
Well, the prequels, they're not as bad as everybody says.
I mean, it's
we could have a
difficult.
Star Wars marathon.
But it's
I'd be 100% down for that.
The Disney sequels,
yeah, 7, 8, 9.
those do not belong. The Disney sequels do not belong.
Yeah, as soon as Disney bought it, it was.
Yeah, that's fucking shit.
I liked Rogue One. That was that was a good movie.
Rogue, yeah.
But
I didn't watch
it's
that
You know what? That was alright.
it was a good one. I had difficulty. See the first 3 movies. That's like my childhood, right? Being only 23 years old. So I mean, now looking back, I think Jar Jar Binks, he's a bit of like a cringe character. That's George Lucas's whole thing. Mainly for him, it was about the kids before it was about the adults. But the third movie I thought was really good, and I watched the Clone Wars TV show. That was also really, really good.
Well, yeah, because for the prequels, I mean, it really was like it was more of a kids movie.
Yeah, until the third one where it all got serious.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So once you factor in, a lot of people don't realize this. They think that Star Wars is just science fiction, right? No, it is a space opera.
Yeah.
It is a space opera. That is why you see with all the music and all the change in the mood and in the tone, and even just the color palettes and the way that each movie changes in the mood, it's all a space opera.
Yeah, well, and actually, it was completely based on real life shit. George Lucas said that the whole idea of like the Rebel Alliance, the Empire, this was actually based on America in Vietnam. The Rebel Alliance was supposedly the Viet Cong. He said this in an interview, so it's.
Well, I think the funniest thing about oh great. I think the
Jews in space.
I think
Let's go.
well, that's like
By Yekuli.
You ever watched that space movie from 1993?
Yeah. Oh, what's it called? Gay niggers in outer
Niggers
space.
from outer space, yeah.
Oh shit, this is on YouTube. Better stop it.
No, it's too late. You already did it. What the fuck? Yeah, that looks like those 9/11 videos.
Yeah.
There you have it.
Anyway.
Wow. I mean, he did make the whole Spaceballs thing too, so.
Yeah.
I mean, Jews have been in space for a considerably long time with that included.
Okay, anyway, again, that's the end of the show. You've got no social media? No one wants to follow you on anything, or you don't want them to follow you?
Well, you can follow me, Mitchell.Rainey on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, no, I've got just X, but I keep it private. I just kind of have it for my own use. I don't follow anybody.
Okay. And as usual...
Fuck off, stop following me.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, you want to say anything before we go?
We have to come up with a movie for
I'll find a movie.
Next month.
Yeah, I'll find another movie.
Sounds good. And thank you guys for having me on.
Come anytime.
Yeah.
You come anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Wednesdays, Sundays. All you got to do is just send me a message.
Sounds good.
We've always got a spare seat. Even
Yeah,
if we've got to
we'll have to get Steve here.
Well, yeah. Well, Michael.
We got Andrew, Steve, and Ed. And
Americans.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I've
Yeah, fucking Commonwealth, baby.
the what?
The Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
yeah.
And if you know anybody that wants to come on, just
Actually, I don't have any foreign friends here. Just Belarusian guys.
they speak English.
I've got one that does, but he's not involved in politics at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but
We can talk about other
sometimes
stuff.
it could be fun to have them on just to ask. Some of the people probably are wondering why we don't ever have any of these people on. It's because we are a very politically charged show, and that's where we gain most of our viewership. The more ridiculous and the more political we get, and the more awful things I say, the more of you start watching us.
And Belarusians don't really want to get involved with the politics.
Yeah, and
Typically, yes.
They don't think any of this is funny. They don't think it's entertaining. They would probably want to slam their head in a door if they had to listen to this the whole time. This is not what they would choose to do. I tried to show my girlfriend some just normal American comedies, like stuff that everybody thinks is funny. Like, you ever watched Zoolander before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves Zoolander. Yeah, she did not. She did not think it was funny.
Yeah, it depends. Like, I mean, it's tough with stuff like that as well, or like stand up, because they've got to have the what would you say, the cultural knowledge. So some know.
Exactly.
So,
Well,
my buddy Vlad, he's Olympiad English speaker in Belarus, and I really can't teach him anything as far as English goes. Like, he's sending me memes that like they're absolute classics. So he gets it. But then you try and get somebody else involved. It's like me trying to understand the Russian meme world, or trying to watch their comedy movies, listen to their stand-up. It's a difficult thing to do.
See, but for me, like I find their stuff funny. Like,
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I'm
like,
totally involved in it.
Because I tried to
Yeah.
show her, like, do you know Anthony Jeselnik?
No, I don't.
Okay. Like, he's an American comedian that's very famous for, like, his style of jokes is like, I had a girlfriend that I love very much, and I broke up with her. She was being a bitch or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And she got this new boyfriend. She still calls me sometimes. She's like, Anthony, like, he's abusive and blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about how it makes him so angry, you know, so angry that he wants to go over there with a baseball bat and blame it on the ex-boyfriend. So it's like that kind of stuff, you know. You think one thing is going to happen, and he goes off into a totally different direction. It's fucking hilarious for us, right? And she didn't understand one joke. She didn't even crack a smile.
Yeah, it depends. The translations can be shit. Like,
But we
if you gotta read,
we even watched it where somebody translated it and spoke it in Russian, and she still didn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
But then she showed me, like, you ever watched Drunk History before?
Yeah.
I've never seen that one. No.
So, like, they show somebody a video of an event, and then they get them, like, almost blackout drunk or blackout drunk, and then they make them repeat everything.
Describe it, the history bit.
Off of memory. And so they had the same concept in Russian, but they were describing movies that they watched. So one was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody knows Harry Potter. So I thought that was fucking hilarious. And then they were describing Twilight. and then I watched some other one, and they were all funny. And I mean, like, I'm like crying, laughing. And they don't think any of our stuff is funny. You know the show Silent Library?
No.
No? It's taken from an old Japanese game show. They're in a library. They have to be completely silent. And they have like 6 people sitting at a table like this, 3 on each side. And you pull this thing, and it gives you these cards, and then you shuffle them. And whoever has like the skull and crossbones, you get this punishment. And they pull down a little lever, and it'll say like fish cake.
Oh, actually, maybe I have seen.
Yeah. See,
okay.
it's an old show. It was on like G4 and MTV and it, like all the networks that people stopped watching, you know. And like even we watched an episode. Jimmy Fallon was on there, and Jimmy Fallon is doing some ridiculous fucking challenge, and they'll do stuff like I watched them build a cake on some guy's head, like a bald guy, like shaved head.
Yeah.
And then the guy that got the punishment, like his friends have to watch him lick this cake off of his head. Oh yeah, fuck. And it's fucking awful, right? Like they're getting these guys to do terrible things, and if they're too loud, then they fail. And for each challenge that they pass, they get a cash reward. And she didn't think it was funny. They don't think it's funny at all. She even took videos of everything, and she was like showing her friends, and all her friends are like, "Yeah, that's not funny," but her friends are like, you know what's funny? The movie Borat.
Yeah.
And I love Borat, but most Americans don't because they think Borat's fucking retarded. But that's exactly why it's funny.
It is retarded. That's why it's funny. Yeah. Yeah.
But why is, like, I don't know. I think all retarded stuff is funny. But why is it that they only think that certain specific versions of retarded stuff is funny? I don't know.
Okay, we're going. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back on Sunday. Bye-bye.
All right.